I thought, while I'm here giving her a little groom in the paddock. Would you like a treat? Yum, yum, yum. I'd talk about a little lady and what she's been doing. She has a... Oh, hello, Lily. Hi, sweetie. So as of right now, she's just kind of chilling. She hasn't done much work. Hey, want some more? Since I'm being crowded now. That's great. They're gonna chase her away because I've just been working with her, and she's been going walk trot under saddle. That's about it. I'll probably do like a little voiceover thing and talk about, you know, how much work she's been doing, her history is. But as of right now, she's kind of just getting back into work after winter. The footing hasn't been the best, and I've been away at school for since September. And I come back once or twice a month, and then I had winter break and I did some muscle building work with her, but other than that I haven't really been doing too much. Lily, hi sweetheart. So we just keep working on love. Yes. And I'm trying to get her to get used to me because she's still sometimes hard to catch in the field, so grooming and giving you treats in the field is nice. Yeah, you're just looking for more, aren't you? You chunker. She's also a lot chunkier than she was when she got here. She's rolled in something, so she's all wet. Are you wet? Are you gross? Hi, sweetie. Can I get the other side? Okay. Hi, Briss. She's like an absolute cuddle bug. It's a while to figure out what type of treats she likes and all that. She came from out west and they don't really do treats as much out there. So it's been kind of trial and error figuring out what she likes and what she doesn't like. She doesn't like apples or apple flavored things. She likes mint. Oh, big scratch in the yawn. Yeah. And we've slowly been working at getting her used to a bit, which is not the easiest thing. She started to pick up her feet. Let's see if she'll let me do it. Can I have your foot? Get your foot. Still working on it. Good girl. I think working at it at Liberty in the field is helpful. Yay, hi. Because she really likes I made some homemade treats, just like molasses, oat flour. It's not the best, but I made them pretty small so I can give her quite a few. Not worry about her getting too much sugar. But yeah, so I'll probably just post a little thing showing her progress. I mean, she's looking pretty chunky, but needs some work. You need a big bum? But yeah, so this is my new horse. Here. We're just finishing up with winter, so the ground, I mean, it's dried up a lot, but it's still pretty wet, so footing is not great in the arena, so I can't do too much work with her. I rode her walk trot yesterday. I got a dressage saddle. It fits her, doesn't fit me. Kind of sucks, but what can you do? Keep looking for one that fits me and her. And yeah, the goal is get her in shape and less fat. You fat? Yes, you are. And now I'm crowded. Hi, Lily. You're such a sweetie pie. So, enjoy whatever video I end up making. Okay, so I thought I would just start out by kind of giving you a brief explanation of Bear's past. So Bear grew up on a farm in Alberta, I believe. And out there, she spent her entire life as a broodmare. So just out in a field, having babies. She didn't have much handling. And then after that, because of like a drought out west, they didn't have enough food for all their horses, so they ended up sending quite a few of them to auction. One of them being Bear, as well as her sisters and a couple of their other horses. So, and then a friend of my coach's bought all these horses and brought them over to Ontario. And at her barn, she was minimally halter broke, and they just had her in a stall. They were putting some weight on her. She was looking a bit better there. And then after that, I bought her. And she came to my barn on the 4th of November, 2021. And her first day there, she came off the trailer. I put her in her stall. She had a bit to eat. And then I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see, how she reacts to things. So I just took her out for a walk and walked her around the arena. And then she was so just chill. Once we got into that arena and walked around for a bit, I was talking to her and she had her head down. She was licking, chewing. So I was like, why don't I try something else? So I tried lunging her just to see if she would pick it up. Not a fan of that at first. And then I just said, you know what? Let's see how she feels with the saddle pad on. See how reactive she is. And she didn't bat an eye. Like, couldn't have a care in the world. So I was like, you know what? We'll put the saddle on. And then she had the saddle on and put the girth on. She didn't care. We had a little walk around the arena, and it was just like she had so minimal training, but her attitude towards like anything I put after her was just, oh, okay, this is what we're doing now. So that's how it went on her first day at my barn. And she was on quarantine for the first couple weeks, so she still had turnout. We just turned her out in the arena, and it was so interesting to watch her because she was so curious, and like she went up to every single corner of the arena. She sniffed around, she looked at the barrels, looked at the mounting block. She let me walk up to her even though we still had a catch line on her because she wasn't halter trained, or she wasn't like easy to catch at that point. But at the same time, she was just so curious of everyone. And I'm sorry if you hear some noise. We're renovating my bathroom. But like, it was so interesting to watch her go around, and she wasn't too fazed by like anything. And like I'm in school right now, like I'm in university, so I had to go home after I got her. But before I went home, like I made sure she knew how to lunge. She was okay being in cross ties for a little bit, even though she would still wiggle around and call out to her buddies. And like she was okay being brushed, and like we had a hard time teaching her to pick up her feet, so that didn't happen for a couple more months. But like I made sure she was comfortable, and like she would be able to be worked so she could put on a bit of muscle. And she was getting hay every day, and she was putting on a bit of weight, and she was starting to look a lot better. But at the end of the day, I had to go back home for school. So I had my little sister go out to the barn, and she's a horse person too, but so she was able to keep working with her. She worked with her in the cross ties. She was lunging her for me while I was away, just doing little hand walks or giving her grooming days. But like at least with my sister's help, I was able to, keep having her worked instead of just sitting in a field while I was gone at school. And then I eventually came back for my winter break, and that's when I started, pushing things forward a little bit. And I did a lot of pole work with her, lots of raised poles to get her, working, using her body. And then I thought, you know what? Before I go home again, I want to sit on her. Like, and I'd done all the groundwork, and I'd desensitized her to the saddle and like pressure in the stirrups. But at this point, I was like, you know what? Gotta take the steps. So I worked with a friend of mine. She helped me. I started her in a halter with the lead rope tied around the halter. And first day, I just did waiting on the mounting block, letting me put my foot in the stirrup. And then I kind of leaned over on the side. We walked around, and I called that a day. And then the next day, we did this during like a windy snow. I'm not going to say a storm, but it was quite cold and windy and snowy, and she didn't care. And then the next day, I was like, you know what? I'm going to hop on. So after repeating the same things I did the day before, I eventually got on her. I walked around, and then we called it a day. So I think her first ride went really well. Like, she didn't seem to care much, and she was willing to let me sit on her back, and she didn't throw a fit or freak out, and I'm very happy with how that went. And then after her first ride, we tried again, I think a couple days later, and I had my little sister get on. Again, she's not a green rider by any means. I wouldn't just chuck a random kid on this horse who's only had one ride. And we tried to see if she would go on the lunge, so like without having someone lead her, and did not go very well. So we took a step back, and we found that, without the lunge line and just being on her own, she was much better. So my sister eventually was able to just walk her around the arena. And then, I had to go back to school after the winter break, so I left, and then I came back in, I came back for 1 week, for my reading week, and I spent that whole week just doing muscle building exercises. And then at the end of that week, I hopped on her, and I walked around, and then I did my first trot with her under saddle. And because we've been working on using voice cues for lunging, just giving her a little, and she just picked up the trot. Like, she didn't have any issues. She was listening to my leg, because I incorporated the voice cues when I added leg to ask her to trot, and like that's something that really worked for her. So I was able to trot her around the arena for the first time, and it was just like an unreal feeling to just, like I had bought a horse that I didn't expect to progress so quickly. And then at that point, like, I had a riding horse. Like, I could trot her around the arena, and like steering still needed work, but like she wasn't crazy, and she wasn't like freaking out, and like she was listening to me. So like it was a great feeling to know that like all the hard work I put into her, and like my friends put into her, like was finally starting to pay off. And then like I came home again, and I was like, you know what? Let's see how my friend does. So I threw my friend on my horse, and like at this point she was going around, and then we were like, why don't you just go over some trot poles? And then my friend was like, okay. So she did her first trot poles under saddle, and then I did some more, raised walk poles with her to help her build some muscle. And then I had my sister's friend, again, not a green rider, ride her around, and she did trot poles with her. And like it was a great way to leave it before I then had to go back to school. And then the next time I came back was now. I just came back, and I'm just finishing up my finals. And I'm back home for the entire summer, so I had the whole summer to work with her. And so when I came back, we did some lunging. I got a dressage. As you heard at the beginning of the video, like I got a dressage saddle for her. Sadly, it doesn't fit me, a little too small. And like we're getting ready for show season, so we have to, get her more comfortable with the bit. And yesterday I got on her and rode her walk trot around a little pole course, and with a bit, and she was so soft in the mouth, and she fought me a little bit, but that was to be expected. But like, she was listening to my aids, she was turning. And the other day, I mean, I'm not super fit, I haven't been riding a lot, so I had my friend hop on her, and she did her first canter under saddle, and it was like, she's really starting to progress so quickly, and it's like every day she's doing something new. She had her first bath the other day. Like she finally ate a carrot, took her long enough. And like, here we are 5 months later, and she's already, getting ready for show season, and she's put on a ton of weight, and she's kind of fat right now, so we're working on building some muscle. But like, if I can show you in the video, like, you can compare a photo of her from like October, November, and then how she looks now, and it's just like, I know I put that work in, and like, other people have been helping as well, and like, my whole barn has kind of come together to help me train this horse. So it's been really great having her, and I'm so excited for our summer together. And we're coming up on me having her for like 6 months now. So I hope you decide to maybe keep watching my videos and see how our summer goes, and see, a bit more of her, because she's an absolute cutie pie and she's so sweet, and I'm so, so thankful to have her in my life. And I'm just really, really excited to see what our future holds.